Hi, I'm Scott Engel, Managing Director of RotoExperts.com. I am the king. I am fantasy here with Tim McCullough, the Assistant Editor and Lead Baseball Writer for RotoExperts.com. We get you ready for the first week with our two-turn pitchers to keep your eye on that you must have in your lineup. We're not going to talk about the obvious guys here. You're not going to hear names like Verlander and Kershaw, but we are going to start off with one solid fantasy pitcher, Tim, with Jarrod Parker, who faces the Mariners and the Astros. That's the second. The latter is almost like facing a minor league team if you look at that lineup.
Well, yeah, Houston was one of the weaker teams in fantasy last season in general and in Major League Baseball. So we're going to pick on them actually a little bit this week. Parker draws both the Mariners and he's going to be at the Houston Astros. Last season, in 2012, Parker's home ERA was 2.61, almost 2 full points below his road ERA of 4.54, and hitters only managed to bat .237 against him when he was pitching at home. So he's a great choice at home. Not a big strikeout pitcher. Only going to get you about 7 strikeouts per 9 innings, a little bit less than that actually, but a solid choice. Certainly as a two-start pitcher in the first week of baseball.
All right, Jason Hammel is a guy who's going to be the opening day starter for the Baltimore Orioles. Hammel has really come into his own with the Orioles since coming over from Colorado. You know, this is a guy that really showed a lot of promise last year. A guy that people got late in fantasy drafts, and you got to use him right out of the gate if you have him.
Yeah, oddly enough, the Rockies loved Hammel because he could generate ground balls. Then he goes to Baltimore, tweaks his slider, and suddenly he's generating ground balls at 53.2%, a career high last season. His season was cut short a little bit last year because of a knee injury, and he's really not on people's radar screen this season. His ADP is 264 in the National Fantasy Baseball Championship, and he's gone as high as 360. He's probably on the waiver wire. Great choice as a two-start pitcher this week. He draws at Tampa Bay and then against Minnesota at home.
You talk about ground ball pitchers, I don't think anybody's a better example than Matt Harrison of the Texas Rangers. Really overcame fantasy expectations last year. Good ground ball pitcher. He's very smart, knows how to work down in the zone and keep the hitters on the ground.
Yep. He was a workhorse for the Rangers last season. 18-11, 3.29 ERA overall. Not a great strikeout pitcher. He does get the ground balls, but he doesn't strike out a lot of batters. Only 5.61 strikeouts per 9. But he's going to pitch deep into games, and he should have a great outing at Houston and also versus the Angels at home.
We sense a theme. We're picking on the Rangers. Jonathan Niese gets the opening day start for the New York Mets with Johan Santana out for the season. 2 easy matchups against a weak Padres lineup. Then the Miami Marlins come to town, and all he has to do really is pitch around Giancarlo Stanton. So use John Niese if you have him. And then A.J. Burnett also gets 2 turns out of the gate, and he's looking to build on a successful 2012. Looks like the move from New York to Pittsburgh worked out good for him last year.
Worked out very well for him. He had a 16-10 record, 3.51 ERA, and he's another pitcher that people are not really taking in drafts. I've actually seen him left on the board in expert drafts, which is really unusual. But a 1.40 ERA in 3 starts against Chicago last season. Great pick for a two-start pitcher next week.